Minister, I would like today to talk about Brexit and in particular the effect that it's having on the mushroom industry throughout the country. As you know, the mushroom industry provides a stark warning to the rest of the country's economy about Brexit and about the damage a sustained weakness in sterling can inflict. It really is the canary in the coal mine of the Irish agribusiness. Ireland's mushroom industry, the fifth largest in the EU, has an annual production worth about 120 million and employs 3,500 people throughout rural Ireland. 1 in every 2 mushrooms sold in the UK are Irish, and 43% of production costs are labour costs. Our mushroom growers rely on the UK for approximately 80% of sales, and they have been losing money since the referendum sent sterling in a downfall. A number of mushroom farms have already gone out of business, with a loss of over 130 jobs, most of them in rural Ireland. A further 6 farms are under serious pressure, with the potential loss of a further 300 jobs, again all located in rural Ireland. The potential impact of further closures is enormous, especially when you consider many of these jobs are heavily concentrated in counties such as Cavan and Monaghan. Producers have been pining their hopes on the government's so-called Brexit-proof budget, but they have now joined other business groups in criticising it as totally inadequate. They say they are not looking to be propped up indefinitely, but they certainly need some help in the short term. Contracts were entered into when sterling was strong. Now they just need to get into next year, when these contracts will be up for renewal again. The mushroom industry made a detailed presentation to the Agricultural Committee in advance of the budget. I too attended that presentation. They pinned their hopes on measures being introduced that would alleviate their difficulties, and I understand the Agricultural Committee made recommendations along those lines, unfortunately none of which were implemented. Mushroom farmers have called for a cut in the level of social insurance tax levied on employers and the provision of emergency funds to exporters. Instead, they were offered cheaper loans and small tax relief measures. It is worrying that exporters who ship 44% of their products to Britain are reporting also starting to encounter some issues assessing credit from banks concerned about their currency exposure. Some firms with a high proportion of sales in Britain are also considering shifting their production there, with obvious implications for jobs on this island. The Minister, Michael Noonan, has suggested that the budget measures would likely not be the last aimed at cushioning the impact of Brexit, and cited, and I quote, the need to wait until he sees the shape of Britain's exit negotiations next year. This will be cold comfort if exporters are already closed down. The lack of breathing space given in the budget is, in fact, likely to speed up the increased mass closures. Options from the industry have been suggested, including the provision of more funding for firms breaking into new markets, a partial state guarantee of their credit exposure to suppliers as is available in other countries, and the reactivation of a fund set up in 2008 that offered up to €500,000 to viable firms facing exceptional difficulties. Brexit is the greatest economic challenge facing Ireland in this generation. The outcome of the US elections adds to that already vitality. The government has so far shown a lack of interest in issues affecting border areas, and a serious change in direction is now needed to confront the problems we face arising from Brexit. Our retail sector is also suffering, underlining again that no country is more affected than Ireland, and no part of Ireland is more affected than the border counties as a result of Brexit. Some people think Brexit won't happen until Article 50 is triggered. Believe me, if you live in the border counties, Brexit is here, and it's here now. Without action, Minister, thousands of jobs will be at risk. Thank you for hearing.
Minister.